What's up, everyone? It's Marco Hanna from PhoneDog.com, and if you've been paying attention to any of my Twitter feeds, you probably know that I've been using this guy right here, the Galaxy S6 and the S6 Edge, as my daily drivers for the past month or so, and we haven't given you a full official review here at PhoneDog.com, but you have seen the S6 and S6 Edge quite a lot here on the channel. So welcome to our long-term, after 1 month of real usage review of the Galaxy S6, and these are actually sort of the best reviews around because, well, we're actually talking about using this phone for an extended period of time. So welcome to the S6 long-term review right here at PhoneDog.com. The Samsung Galaxy S6 is a radical departure from the model that preceded it. It seems that Samsung has finally listened to the media and their users and have ditched the use of crappy materials. And what we have now is a beautiful Gorilla Glass 4 coated metallic sides sliver of a phone that just feels as premium as the HTC One M8 and the Apple iPhone 6. But it still looks unmistakably Samsung, even with those iPhone 6-esque sides and speaker holes. Though the real story behind the Galaxy S6 lies internally because the S6 is not only different on the surface, but it's completely different beneath the surface. Now, packed inside is a new octa-core Exynos configuration, and for the first time ever, it is being sold here in the US. It's called the Exynos 7420, which packs together 2 quad-core chips, which is connected to 3GB of RAM, 32GB of internal flash storage, and on the GPU side of things, Samsung has also moved over to an in-house Mali chip instead of your typical Adreno processor. Samsung has also improved other pieces of hardware. For example, the new fingerprint sensor no longer requires you to swipe your finger. Also, the camera has received not only a bump in sensor quality, but also an addition of optical image stabilization. Lastly, on the side of hardware, but more aesthetics, the Galaxy S6 just feels mega premium in the hand. Its metallic sides and glass front and back just scream levels of quality. And with a month of bare usage, we found 0 scratches of any of the surfaces. So the next thing you are blown away by is the display. It spans 5.1 inches, which is the same size as the Galaxy S5, but it packs way more pixels. It's Samsung's signature Quad HD or 2560 by 1440 resolution display, and of course, it's powered by Super AMOLED. The deepness of blacks and the amount of color and saturation could blind someone, but in a good way. I thought the Galaxy Note 4 had the best display last September, but Samsung has again proved me wrong. The S6 has the best display on the market, period. It's the most vibrant display indoors and also the most outdoor viewable when you are outside. Next, let's dive into the software. The Galaxy S6 runs Android 5.0 Lollipop. Currently, it's running 5.0.2, but I'm sure 5.1 and later versions of Android will come very soon to the S6. On top of Lollipop is TouchWiz, and if you were here about a year ago, this is the spot where my reviews always turn a little sour. Truth be told is, I've never been a fan of TouchWiz, and in my honest and personal opinion, I thought it ate up too much RAM and eventually slowed down your device over a long period of time. I was a much bigger fan of stock Android and skins like Sense or even LG's UX software. Now, it's a little different. Stock Android, while great, can get a little boring. HTC Sense is pretty plain these days, and LG's UX is great, but not wonderful. TouchWiz, on the other hand, has improved a lot from last year. I think the experimentation phase of TouchWiz is now over, and now they know the core functionality of what their skin should be. We are in the fine-tuning stage of TouchWiz, which means this year it feels more mature and more finished than last year or any previous version of TouchWiz. Now, don't get me wrong, it still makes those crappy noises, and I turned that off before I even entered my Google password, and the colors are still a little too much for my liking. But the fluidity of the skin has improved by miles. The functionality of these things like multi-window have finally come into their own, and I use them quite a lot. It just runs like modern software, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, this review can't be all positive feelings, and unfortunately, there are 1 or 2 things that still need fixing. The first thing is being the briefing screen to the left of the home screen. It's powered by Flipboard, but operates a million times slower than the standalone application. But apart from that nonsense, the experience was relatively speedy. And speaking of speed, I should mention the performance, right? Well, the S6 is fast, and that's basically all you need to know. I've never run into performance issues over the past month, and everything has been performing like it was designed to. The two chips inside the S6 can definitely handle the amount of pixels this thing is pushing out without any issues. Now the next piece of this review is all about the camera. Now you probably saw my S6 camera review and understand my position on this. The Galaxy S6 has the best camera on any smartphone, period. Its 16 megapixel sensor of OIS is absolutely crazy. Its HDR mode is amazing, and it captures 4K UHD video, and those 16 megapixel photos, yeah, they're all in 16:9 to fill up your TV screen and your phone. Samsung has really nailed the camera on the S6, and I'm really having a hard time switching back to any other phone because of that. Now the last piece of the puzzle may be the biggest flaw of the S6 and also the reason why I didn't mention it in the hardware section. Samsung has reduced the size of the battery to 2,550 mAh. That's smaller than the S5 and about 50 mAh smaller than the Galaxy S6 Edge. That has put a bit of a curse on the battery life, and on average I've killed my S6 in a matter of hours, especially on travel days. I've killed the battery multiple times in a one-day trip to New York City a few weeks back. Now, on my on average to light usage days, I can manage a day of usage, which correlates to around 3.5 hours of screen on time and about 5 hours of standby time before my phone completely dies. Now, that's not too bad because that's quite common with any smartphone that I use. And if you're a tech head like me, you probably already carry an external battery and are already used to charging your devices throughout the day. Now, yes, I know it's not a solution nor it's an acceptable solution for a problem like this, but this is just a hard truth of today's smartphone. But if any of that didn't deter you away from this phone, then you really don't need talking into. The Galaxy S6 is by far the best Samsung phone on the planet. Also, I think it's the best smartphone now, period. In my book, it beats the iPhone 6, the HTC One M9, and the more recent and recently announced LG G4. And that's basically all you need to know about the Galaxy S6. Now make sure to leave your comments and questions below because I am really looking forward to those questions and ideas you guys have. And as always, my name is Marco Hanna, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.